Barry Tompkins with Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor. We start the final rotation, the final 4 teams. And you are looking at Sandy Woolsey. Remember, the Americans doing very well after the compulsory stage, in 4th place behind the Chinese, the Romanians, and the Soviets.
All the teams are off to a good start in the first rotation.
Identical scores for Selzhennikova of the Soviet Union on her second vault. So you said it, same vault, figuratively and literally.
This is Sandy Woolsey of Desert Devils, and a triple twist, beautifully done.
And she really made that around, Kathy. It's very difficult to pull all 3 twists.
It's also difficult to keep form in a triple twist, and she really did a good job of that. She did particularly well in the compulsory competition. Best compulsory round I've ever seen her have. Nice middle tumbling run. This is the best I've ever seen Sandy look in any competition. To see a little bit more extension in the movements. The positions really marking them. Last tumbling run. Double twist punch front. Good finish. Good routine for the Americans.
Been a good discipline for the Americans so far. Sandy Woolsey, obviously she likes it. And we'll see how the judges liked it.
This first tumbling run was really the highlight of her routine. She does a whip back right here through to a triple twist. But boy, she gets it around all the way. Many people have trouble getting that last little 1/8 of a turn in.
This is her last pass.
Of course, we talked about the bonus points. That's really what these top gymnasts are striving to get the bonus so they can score higher than the 9.6. And this is one of the skills that helps her do that. Double twist punch front. She gets a bonus point for the originality of that connection and for it being at the end of her routine.
And now she'll have to wait for her score. Ahead of her, Kim Kelly started it off with a 9.687, good score for the first competitor, then a 9.75 for Christi Henrich. And now it is Sandy Woolsey who awaits the judge's verdict. 9.825, excellent.
That is going to help the American cause considerably. They've got 3 more gymnasts to go and building on a 9.825.
That was excellent for Sandy Woolsey. She had a 9.662 in that same event, the compulsory, so she's improving with every out. Up now for the United States, Wendy Bruce on floor exercise.
Wendy has really come on strong since winning the international mixed pairs back in March. She won that with her partner, and I think it gave her a real boost of confidence. Full twisting double back, perfect landing. Nice amplitude on the leaps. Both she and Brandi Johnson have very similar floor routines, the type of music they've chosen.
Of course, they're both training with Kevin Brown down in Altamont Springs, Florida. And Kevin really working on power tumbling as well, Kathy.
And it definitely shows off in these passes. Whip over through to double tuck, and she just stays in bounds, saving that 1/10 of a point deduction.
In a way, for the U.S. team, this is the perfect event to start on, because with all that nervous energy, they can use it up in the floor exercise. Exactly
right. And a double twist. It's not as difficult a last pass as, say, the Soviets and Romanians are going to do, but she had good difficulty in the early part of the routine, and the whole routine was clean.
Romanians doing very well, as a matter of fact, on the uneven bars. A moment ago, a score of 9.925 for the Romanians. And right now, it is Eugenia Popa.
It was a nice Ginger at the beginning of the routine, and she just did a reverse hecht. A lot of release moves, a lot of difficulty in this routine. Half in, half out. That's a full twisting double back dismount, and it was done beautifully.
Their scores have been simply brilliant so far. 9.9, 9.9, 9.925, 9.887 by Aurelia Dobre, the lowest of the Romanians. So while the Americans are doing wonderfully well in floor exercise, everybody else is really posting some big numbers early in this rotation. Good job, Wendy.
They certainly are.
Way to go. Wendy Bruce, 9.862, another excellent score for the Americans on floor exercise. But as good as they're going, they are in there right now with the very best in the world. We have had a 10 on vault by Alicia Dudnik of the Soviet Union, and there is just action going on all over Hans-Martin Schleierhalle, and we'll be back with a lot more of that action after this. We have had some unbelievable scores. We'll try to keep you up to date. Shen Qi-Ting right now on beam for China, and she's got some catching up to do too. 9.975 rather put up by Yang Bo a moment ago. Silivash on uneven bars just a second ago, waiting for her score. Another brilliant performance.
We have seen some outrageous scores already in rotation 1 and great routines.
It's important to keep in mind that there are 4 events going on. The 4 best teams in the world all performing brilliantly all at once. It's crazy.
It really is. And you just can't keep up with the high scores.
The Chinese are just excellent on this beam. Compulsory was beautiful. Better than anyone else in the competition. Layout chest roll down. Tiny little wobble there. Preparing for the dismount. Round off, double tuck. Just a slight hop on the landing, a little bobble on the full turn. Other than that, it was very nice.
We will have her score in just a moment. We wait for Silivash. There has just been another 10 on the vault by Lashenova. Truly remarkable.
Brandi Johnson, her middle tumbling run, she nailed her full in at the opening pass. Just did whip over through the double tuck.
Is it Lashenova?
It's a really good music selection for her. The audience gets into it. They get behind her in this routine. Last tumbling run, double tuck. Oh. It's a first break for the Americans. It'll be 0.5 of a point deduction for the fall and a 10th going out of bounds. Oh, what a shame. The rest of the routine was just solid as could be.
Very tough break for the Americans, but I'll tell you, Silivash, a 10 on uneven bars. How many is that, Bart? 4 or 5?
I think it's 4 to this point. There's been a lot of talk about bringing the level of the scores down, but scores are booming through the roof here.
The problem is the gymnasts move faster than the rule changes do. And that's Brandi on her last tumbling pass. She over-rotates the double back, falls out of bounds. That's 0.6 of a point off.
And on the vault, Buginskaya of the Soviet Union's second vault, her first a 9.9. And by the standards that they've been going, that's not so good.
Round off, full twisting layout. Oh, beautiful. Yurchenko full. Now keep in mind, some of her teammates did double twisting Yurchenko's, which is a more difficult vault, but she did this so clean. There are hardly any deductions there.
And of course, Buginskaya is the Olympic champion last year on this event.
Brandi Johnson, 9.450 on floor exercise, that despite the fall.
Look at the clean execution of this vault. That is the way the Soviets do everything. So clean, no deductions, perfect form.
It's interesting to note when she sticks, watch her feet, one foot just slightly in front of the other as she's trying to plant that landing. It's a Buginskaya technique.
was the first 10 of the night. This by Alicia Dudnik of the Soviet Union. That came in the vault, and it started a row of 10s by the Soviet athletes, by the Romanians. Some very fine scores on the vault. Here is yet another one.
This is Lashenova.
All together now, and look at this vault. Oh, full twisting Yurchenko. She lays it out at the end. Arms go out to the side. Great style.
They said it was team competition, didn't we? Lashenova with the 10. So there were 2 10s in the vault by the Soviet Union. Here's a look again.
You can't do this vault any better. And this is what I like. She does the pull, then opens the arms out for the stylization and nails the landing.
Well, that started it. So 2 10s. And then it was Silivash, the Olympic champion, on the uneven bar.
Beautiful Stalder work, and you rarely see that anymore. Right to a front Stalder. Delchev. Stalder again to a full pirouette. She has a nice variety of moves here. Release moves, in-bar work with the Stalders and free hip dismount. And a beautifully stuck landing.
Some extremely high scores from 3 leading teams, the Soviet Union, the Romanians, and China. Soviet Union 49.749. They are still in first place as we take another look at the dismount of Silivash. The Romanians scored 49.637, the Chinese 49.674. By comparison, the United States 49.011. Still plenty more to come from the World Championships here in Stuttgart. We'll have more right after this. And for the United States, Kim Kelly, a 9.712 on her first vault. This is her second vault. So the Americans doing just fine.
Does a Yurchenko, full twist, hop on the landing, a little bit off center.
The Americans did well just to get into the top 4 and wind up with the best in the world here on the last rotation.
It's a dream come true for the Americans to be in this final rotation.
Alicia Dudnik now coming off a 10 on the vault. How about that mount?
That's a tough mount. First time that was done was Michelle Goodwin of the United States back at the World Championships. Beautiful. Oh, caught her foot on the ground there. Lost her rhythm. That's a pretty substantial deduction there. Her release moves aren't as high either.
9.737 for Kim Kelly on her second vault, improving slightly.
And a double tuck dismount. What a shame, coming off a 10 over on the vaulting. She actually had trouble on this event in the compulsories.
Yeah, she had a 9.3 in the compulsories.
Exactly, and after the third event compulsories, she was in a position to take the lead, be the top Soviet, the top gymnast in the compulsories, and she had that mistake on bars.
Christi Henrich in the vault.
Nice vault, tiny bit off center and a little hop on the landing. I think she can better that vault.
I'll tell you what's frustrating about this competition is the U.S. girls look great. 9.7s, 9.75s, they're performing very well, and they're not gaining any ground on anybody.
If anything, they're losing ground. The problem is they're looking great, but it's a relative term when you're dealing with the best in the world.
In fact, they came in about 2 points behind the Chinese after the Chinese performed on the beam, and the U.S. on the floor, they dropped to 2.4 behind the Chinese.
Really trying to stick this vault. Christi always has good form on all the events. She has beautiful toe point.
9.737 was her first vault.
Her teammates call her E.T. for extra tough. She's a real fighter.
She's had a good year. Came on very strong. This is the best shape I've seen her in, and she's been consistently getting better all year.
Chinese struggling right at the moment in floor exercise. 9.037 by Wang Wenjing.
Layup full twist. A little bit better than the other one, I think. think her coach, Al Fong, will be very happy with that. Good position in the air. Little low on the landing. She had to hop forward slightly.
9-8-6-2 was the score for Dudnik on the uneven bars.
Just another look at the ball.
Trying to keep you up to the moment on everything. This is Lashenova coming off a 10 on the vault a moment ago. Natalia Lashenova, the Soviet Union. Score on Henrich's second vault, 9.75, does improve slightly from the first.
Oh, beautiful high reverse hecht. Oh, look at that, way up above the bar. This is what you're looking for in bars. Stalled her work as well. Again, a good combination of skills. Many of the girls have what we call stock routines, all the same, and this isn't. Very different from the others and done exceptionally well.
You're looking at gymnastics that I have to say, from my limited experience, is as good as it gets.
This is pretty darn close.
Lashenova, remember, had a 10 in the vault. And we will see how she does on the uneven bar. She's not going to do a whole lot worse than that. Meanwhile, on the balance beam, Aurelia Dobre has had a 9.95 for Romania.
That's an amazing mount. Round off back handspring, onto the beam, back handspring, 2 layouts following. That's a long pass.
This is Cristina Bontas of Romania, and this again coming on the heels of a 9.95 by Dobre.
Fulfilling all her requirements. She just did her gymnastics acrobatics series, combining gymnastics and acrobatics. Back handspring, layout, step out, back pike. She's done 2 very difficult passes on the balance beam already. Very risky. Now these are the kind of routines that do earn their bonus, but there are several just medium range routines that if they're smart, they can design the routine and still get their bonus, but they don't compare to these routines. That's the problem in our judging system. Maybe they'll have to come up with extra bonus.
So far, a 9.837, a 9.862, and a 9.95 by Aurelia Dobre for Romania. And Lashenova on the uneven bars, whom we saw a moment ago, 9.95.
And dismount with a run-up at handspring, double top dismount.
She liked it. Cristina Bontas. Romanians doing considerably better in the optionals here than they did in compulsories. Meanwhile, we'll take it back to the uneven bars.
That's pretty par for the course. The Soviets have always been probably the strongest in the compulsories. The Romanians always come on stronger in the optionals.
Svetlana Bogunskaya of the Soviet Union now.
Giant full turn over the top to reverse hecht. Good height. It's amazing she works barehanded, no grips. That's unusual to see at this level. That's pretty. Split right into the toe-on handstand and a tuck of a flyaway. She doesn't do the most difficult routine. And in many cases on all the events, that's just like her, not to do the most difficult routines, but so perfect.
Meanwhile, over here at the head of the vault runway, Wendy Bruce, the United States, who had a very good 9.875 on her first vault. She awaits the second. On the balance beam, incidentally, Bontas is finished and had a 9.937, and the Romanians' 2 best are still to come, Silivash and Podorak.
Plus, this is a good opportunity for the American women with their strong vaulting scores. Wendy is terrific, and Brandi Johnson coming up next is also fantastic. They can gain some ground on the Chinese that are having trouble on floor.
Oh, good vault. It's as good as she can do it. Beautiful position in the air, nice, clean twist, and of course that landing that the judges are looking for.
Bogunskaya, a 10 on the uneven bars that you saw just a moment ago. Will we see another one right here in the vault?
Oh, it's hard to say. She had good form throughout the whole vault. Perfect landing.
Case of nerves for Wendy Bruce right now as we await her score. 9.875 is the score for Wendy Bruce.
See, this is where it really helps out. The Soviets and Romanians, usually their first girl up gets a 9.9. From 9.85, 9.9, they can build to the 10s. When you start with 9.6s and 9.7s, it's very difficult to build up to those high scores.
And here is Brandi Johnson, and a fine 9.875 by Wendy Bruce in her face.
Brandi's doing the same vault. Yurchenko with a full twist. Now in her first event, she had that fall on floor exercise, so you know she's trying to get back on track. Okay, the vault was good in the air, but the problem was with the landing. She over-rotated it.
Brandi is so powerful, and that's the reason she got into the finals in Seoul in vaulting, because she shows that terrific power. She overpowered it on floor exercise. Her only other opportunity, really, I think, here to make it into the finals at these World Championships is sticking a vault here in the preliminaries.
And that's going to be crucial.
Trying to keep an eye while you watch the vault of Brandi Johnson in replay. We're trying to keep an eye on the balance beam where Daniela Silivash, who had a 10 in her first discipline, just had a brilliant performance on balance beam, and we await her score right now.
This is the event that I've always thought Brandi could not only make finals, but she could really medal in this event because she has two strong vaults. Many gymnasts only have one strong vault, and they're from two different families, and she does them as well as anybody in the world. But she's got to stick this vault here to try and get into finals.
Yeah, this is the one, because she over-rotated the first one. She had a good compulsory score, but she'll need to nail this one if she even hopes to make it into the finals. And remember, in the finals, everybody starts from 0. So Brandi has as good a shot as anyone at winning a medal for the Americans if she can get into the finals with this vault here.
It's going to take a stick. The most perfect vault she has.
Okay, I see.
Again, performing a Yurchenko with a full twist. She's doing her second vault. Handspring, front pike with a half twist. It's a Brandi out. Not nearly as well as Brandi can do this vault. I've seen her do that vault unbelievably well.
Still plenty more to come from the World Championships here in Stuttgart. We'll have more right after this. Soviet Union continues to lead Romania. They are emerging clearly as the two dominant teams here with China. And the United States right now remaining in 4th place and having a very good competition.
In fact, they're closing on the Chinese. They have closed that lead.
Yeah, the Chinese were leading by 2.664 coming in after the second rotation. It's only 1.713 for the Americans, picked up about 9/10 of a point. The American vaulting against the Chinese floor.
The Soviets are on a good event for them. The balance beam, back handspring, the 2 layouts.
And Strajeva has already set the tone. You were talking about setting the tone with the first competitor, 9.95 for her. And this is Baitova.
Nice work, back row extension, back handspring. Gymnastics acrobatic series.
Kind of a weak one in a way, wasn't it, Kathy?
Yeah, I've seen a lot better.
A simple leap. Most of the girls are using a more difficult combination.
Triple twist dismount. Landed a little funny in a deep pike. That will be a deduction.
It'll be interesting to see what she scores on that, because that was a significant deduction. Whether the judges take it or not will remain to be seen.
That's true, and the judges have seen some tremendous balance beam routines to compare it to.
You know, there's a lot of talk in Seoul, Kathy, about the fact that the judging was too easy. The gymnasts were better than the current scoring system. Then all of this talk about the revised system, and yet the first girl up for the Soviets gets a 9.95. Did they really revise the system, or are the judges just not paying attention to it?
They did revise the system, but in my opinion, it's too easy to get the bonus. And in that way, we cannot separate the very good from the great.
A 9.925 for Baitova.
Boy, that is a low score.
Yes.
They'll probably end up throwing that one out.
Ma Ying, incidentally, of China, first to vault a 9.812.
Front tuck up to the balance beam. Used to be a very common mount. Now you don't see it that much anymore.
This is Lashenova, the Soviet Union, and she has had an excellent competition so far.
Watch this powerful run right here. Back handspring to layout, landing 2 feet together.
That is a gorgeous move. Some people do something that they call a layout, but that was a true layout. And that's an interesting scale. Switch leg leap, Christi Henrich. This is her gymnastics series.
And what's Lashenova done today? Nothing more than a 10 on vault and a 9.95 on bars.
Gymnastics acrobatic series, a little more original. Forward roll to the jump. Another layout step out. She maintains good leg form on those layout step outs, which is important. Many people lose that form. Two back handsprings to a full in. Full twisting double back dismount. I can't tell you how difficult that is off the balance beam. It's hard on the floor.
So Lashenova just having what could be considered the meat of her life with a 10 and a 9.95 so far. And will certainly score very highly on the beam.
How she can walk off so casually after doing a full in off the balance beam, I'll never know. Look at this, perfectly straight on these back handsprings. Enough power to pull that around, and of course a step. But the judges will keep in mind how difficult that dismount was when they take the deduction for the landing. Very difficult and very well done.
Natalia Lashenova, and no score yet for her. And there's Nellie Kim once again. Been around this track a little bit.
She was many people's favorite gymnast.
9.962. So obviously they took a little bit off for that little step she took. And now on the balance beam, maybe their best, although I'll tell you, it's very hard to pick any one of them out as the best Soviet.
One-arm handstand. It's open very strong. It's a nice original little move.
It's like a
Haven't seen it in a while.
the guys use on parallel bars.
Actually, Steffi Kraker did that a long time ago. Wasn't
really
that long
exciting.
ago. It was when I was competing, so it wasn't that long ago.
It's really exciting to see Strazova in this competition. Many of you will remember in Seoul, she hurt her knee on the balance beam while she was competing and had to be carried off the floor. She's back and she looks terrific. If you see, there's a flesh tone knee brace on the left knee there.
Handspring layout, step out to a back handspring. Nice split loop showing the full flexibility. Dismount, double tuck. Ooh, a step on the landing. With that and a slight bobble after a full turn, a little unsureness throughout the routine. Still going to score well, though.
So far for the Soviets, 9.962 by Lashenova, 9.925 by Baitova. Strajeva now waits for her score.
Of course, she was a member of the gold medal winning team in Seoul. Nice mount. There was that first little bobble. Back handspring, layout, step out. Back handspring perfectly straight with the balance beam.
And for the United States, Sandy Woolsey. Woolsey waiting her turn on the bars.
This is Sandy's best event.
Wendy Bruce has just scored 9.762 ahead of her. Strajeva 9.925.
Nice reverse hecht. Straddle back to a handstand. Good positions there. Giant full. Lost a little form there. Saw her toe point. Legs slightly come apart across. But other than that, the rest of the routine was very nice.
Sandy Woolsey. Well, the Soviet Union continues to dominate here in Stuttgart. A lot more to come, and we'll be back right after this.
One dry is brewed longer. One dry is brewed from the most expensive ingredients. One dry refreshes.
City, to be sure. And now in Florex. Of Romania.
Open with a double layout. Good position in the air, nice and strong.
Woolsey 9.9 on the uneven bars. Very good score.
Full twisting double back handspring straddle jump. Right through to a double back. Incredible tumbling pass. 2 tumbling passes. All of those were difficult moves combined together to form one tumbling pass. Gymnastics has come a long way in the last few years.
Dismount, a whip back through to a tuck double back. What a tumbler.
Beautiful.
Christina Bontas of Romania.
Having a terrific day, by the way, at 9.9 on the uneven bars, a 9.937 on beam. She's going to score well there.
Tremendous. One can sit in awe of those tumbling passes, all in the same routine, and easily done. Front tuck onto the beam.
Sasha Nenkova on beam, 9.925 for the Soviets, and Henrich of the United States, 9.937 on bars. So the Americans getting a couple of very good performances on the uneven bars. Henrich and Woolsey. Boginskaya now on beam.
She was 5th on this event at the Olympic Games.
Not a bad evening for her either, 9.95 in vault. Perfect 10 on the uneven bars.
She is a good all-around gymnast. No weaknesses really in any event. But then most of the Soviets are like that. .9987 for
Bontas and Florex, and the crowd thought she was probably worth a 10.
Boginskaya has such terrific long lines. She's actually 5'3" and 3/4, which in this competition, she's a giant compared to many of the other gymnasts.
Oh! 2 back handsprings to a layout step out and a fall.
Brandi Johnson also just had a fall on uneven bars. And we will have a chance to look at that in a moment.
Major happenings here in this rotation.
Major happenings in this building.
Double back dismount. That's a shame. She had a great competition going. Of course, in terms of the Soviet team, it's not as bad. They can drop that score.
Here's a look at Brandi Johnson. She did have a fall. She's having a tough meet here, at least in this portion of it.
And you've got to wonder what's happening with Brandi, whether it's the virus that really had an effect on her training. She had a terrific year. Maybe it was just too much packed into 1 year. She's been up since the Olympic Games in Seoul.
This has always been a very difficult combination here. Looked like she was right there, Kathy.
Exactly. She was trying to catch that, though, in a crossed grip. And she didn't have a good grasp of the bar. It's very disappointing. Like I said, she's had a tremendous year. She's done so much for USA Gymnastics. In international meets, she won 5 gold medals in the meet in East Germany.
Buganskaya on the beam, 9.475. And that is the lowest score that they have had on beam, so they likely will not even use it. It will depend on Alicia Dudnik. And Dudnik is on the bar now while we look at Brandi Johnson. Brandi trying to gather her thoughts right now. Meanwhile, on floor exercise, Daniela Silivash of Romania.
Very exciting gymnast. I enjoyed very much watching her at the Olympic Games. She was second in the all-around there.
She won the gold on floor exercise.
As well as the gold on the uneven bars, the balance beam. She did a great job over there. Very nice gymnast.
And had a very good floor exercise here. She's having a very good competition here, as a matter of fact. Silivash, who did everything at the Olympic Games and has not really missed a beat here, as this, of course, the first major competition following the Olympic Games. She's already had a 10 on the bars and a 9.9 on beam.
Take a look, their tumbling run, whip back. 2 back handsprings to a full in. Difficult pass. Many of the gymnasts are just doing the full in, but to tumble through to a full in.
10 was her score. I guess that's about as good as you can get.
Boy, this was a very significant rotation in terms of the all-around competition as well, because Boganskaya, who is the current European champion and favored here, fell off the beam, while Silivash, who is due a world championship title in the all-around, knocking out 2 10s and a 9.9.
Brandi Johnson, incidentally, 9.362 with that fall on the uneven bars. Well, the story continues to be the dominance of the Soviet Union, but plenty of other competition still to come from here at the Hans Martin Schleyer Halle. Back with more after this. Svetlana Baitova, the Soviet Union in floor exercise.
The Soviets are always great on this event. They're so expressive, and I love the way they interpret the music. Full double back. They really have a feel for the music. Very dramatic. Step out, we do a double full. It's a pretty pass. She finishes with a tuck double back. Awkward on the landing. Pretty routine.
Svetlana Baitova, the Soviet Union.
And again, this is their start-off batter. Very capable of starting with a high score and, of course, building to none other than the 10.
We were kidding earlier that that's what Angela Lansbury looked like when she was Baitova's age. What do you think?
This is a nice pass. Full and a half to a step out due to a double twist. It's not the most difficult pass, but it's a nice combination.
And 9.8 3-7 for Baitova. So as you said, the leadoff hitter doing the job for the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Li Yan of China on bars.
Interesting to note, the Chinese actually beat Romania on the balance beam. Nice work here. Good full pirouettes, right into a reverse hecht. Again, those are ways to get the bonus points, combining the difficult skills, one right after the other. Looks like a giant. Tuck double flyway, hop back. That will be the deduction in that routine.
The Yan of China.
The Chinese always look so pretty on the uneven bars because of their body line. It's so straight. Straight handstands. Good alignment. Just two giant full turns right into a reverse hecht. Combination of good difficulty.
The score not yet announced. Meanwhile, the Romanians, who have done a brilliant job. You're looking at Eugenia Popa, waiting for her second vault. 9.85 on her first vault.
Now keep in mind, at the same time, the Americans are over on the balance beam.
This is Lacromora Philippe, and not Popa.
And she missed that vault, a handspring front. Fairly easy vault for the Romanians. I'm surprised.
That's right, Kathy. Most of the Romanians are using the laid-out Yurchenko full.
Leon, incidentally, who you saw on bars a minute ago, 9.875.
You're right, Bart. She does the handspring front tuck, which has now been upgraded so that it's worth a 9.9. But still, it's not as difficult as the other vaulters are doing at that level.
So she will have another 9.225 for Lacromia Philippe. Kim Kelly had a problem on beam, and here is what happened to her.
Doing layout, pass. It was completely off. She didn't even get her second foot on. It's really too bad.
She's cutting it. Philippe's second vault.
Handspring front with a half, a much better vault and a more difficult vault. That was a handspring front tuck with a half twist, so it's worth a 10.0 and will be judged from there.
Alicia Dudnik, who despite 3 10s in the competition, 1 in the compulsories and 2 in the optionals, still may not make the best 3 of the Soviets. That's how well they've been going in this competition.
She just opened with a piked, full twisting double back. And it does remind me of Olga Korbut back in 1972. She ended up winning 2 events there, but didn't make the all-around finals. But became famous nonetheless.
She had a 10 in this discipline in the compulsory.
It's a nice pass. 2.5 twist, punch front.
They all have that sense of ballet, too, don't they?
Very much so. This is why Soviets have always been my favorite team, or at least one of my favorites.
Next to the Americans, yeah.
Of course.
She really is a treat to watch. The presentation is so dramatic and so elegant.
What's good about this team is they leave no stones unturned. They work on everything. Body movement. They get their entire body into the floor routine, into the music. They're very expressive. Tuck double back. Very dramatic routine. Beautiful.
Just terrific. Alicia Dudnik of the Soviet Union.
Now she scored a 10 in the compulsory competition. If she scores a 10 on this, this will be the first 20 compulsory and optional together in the competition thus far. I think Nadia Comaneci was the first gymnast to score a 20 in the 76 Olympics for her uneven bars.
Did either of you see that she missed anything in this routine?
You can always pick a routine to pieces, particularly here in slow motion.
Yeah, you can find
see
little
slight legs apart. These are hard to see in regular time. And also, what's really important, the judges now can take, at least in the women's side, can take a 1/2 of a point deduction. Whereas before, they either had to decide whether to take a full 10th, or if they didn't think it was big enough, they wouldn't take any.
995 is her score, so they did see a couple of little flaws and did deduct that, but not too bad. Still plenty more to come from the World Championships here in Stuttgart, and we'll have more right after this.
It started in Japan in 1907 and began.
Meanwhile, floor exercise, Lashenova, who at the risk of being redundant has also had a brilliant evening here with a 10 in the vault, a 995 on bars, and a 9962 on beam.
Now this is detail. Watch her facial expression. Double layout, back handspring, straddle jump, punch front. Tumbles back the other way, through to a double back. That's more difficulty in her first pass than most people have in their entire routine. If I were her, I'd stop right there.
And just take your 10, go home, right?
This really is amazing. But what's so nice, on top of all the difficulty, the toe point, the execution, the perfect form. Whip back through to a double back. She's now done the equivalence of 2 routines. We'll see what she has in store for the last tumbling run. A double back and another perfect landing. Beautiful. Now this is where you will see a 10. I can almost guarantee it, because the one preceding her is a 995. Where do you go? I'd give her a 10-5.
I'll tell you, they're applauding it on press row here. Paul Zertman, who's seen it all, hadn't he, Bart? Next to me applauding.
It was a terrific exercise. It's interesting to note, though, she cowboys her double backs really wide. Now, the judges have the option of taking that deduction. It's an accepted technique, but it certainly isn't that pretty.
I agree with you, Bart.
Meanwhile, Silivash on the vault. And we've been talking about all the people who've been having great meets here. Silivash is having a great meet also.
She does a Yurchenko full twist. Now, a lot of people get higher than this on this vault, but she gets quite a bit of distance.
Going to go back to Svetlana Bugunskaya.
Now, this is some fun choreography. Pike full in.
I will tell you, Silivash a 995, and she has another vault coming.
Full in, half twist, step out. Through to a double twist. Very different choreography than the other Soviets. Finishes with a tuck double back. Nice double turn to end the routine with.
Crowd likes this one, Bugunskaya of the Soviet Union. And one is just better than the next.
Hard to believe that year after year for the past, I don't know how many years, the Soviets have turned out these gymnasts time and time again.
9962 for Silivash on her second vault. So she continues to have a brilliant competition here.
It's great to see Bugunskaya performing at such a high level, because 3 days after the Olympics in Seoul, her coach, Lyubov Miromanova, died mysteriously. And it had a tremendous effect on Bugunskaya. And of course, it's exciting to see that she's back and she looks terrific here at the World Championships.
Oh, what a sad story.
And a 10 for Bugunskaya.
The judges knew what what they were doing? They were saving it.
Woolsey of the United States, who just completed her routine on the balance beam. Here on videotape, a portion of that.
She was so solid on this routine. Round up back handspring, double back, the one step on the landing, scored a 9.9.
She was really having the event of a lifetime for her.
I would have to say so, and I'm sure she would agree. This is the best I've ever seen her look. She has really worked hard.
Final Soviet performer on floor, Olga Strajeva. Buginskaya having just scored a 10 in the same event. Lashenova having a brilliant performance just before her. Hard to find any place that's up.
Very strong music, strong movements. Laid out 1 and 3. Beautiful. That's a tough pass. Last tumbling run, double back. Interesting choreography.
Olga Strajeva. Look at her teammates. They're loose now. They know they've won this competition. They've had one excellent performance in floor exercise after another. Lashenova and Buginskaya embrace her. Look at the American team. Good news, bad news for the Americans tonight. Brandi Johnson on the balance beam, recorded a moment ago.
Nice Diamondov on the balance beam.
9.987, the score given to Strajeva of the Soviet Union, the same score that Lashenova had. And Buginskaya with the perfect 10.
Brandi's under a lot of pressure here. She's had 2 misses in the competition. It's tough to end up on balance beam. 2 back handsprings, lay out, step out. It's a major break. She saves the ball, but it's still a major break. It's a 4-10 for the point step.
You were saying earlier that this apparatus, above all, after you've had a tough competition, is extremely difficult.
It's hard to get your confidence back. Gainer layout, step out. But as I said earlier, Brandi has done so much for USA Gymnastics. She's done so well. She won the American Cup, the USA Championships, 5 gold medals in East Germany. Unheard of for an American to do that. And she's caught the attention of everyone around the world. It's just unfortunate she's having a bad meet here.
But this meet is not over for her, for any of these competitors. Still a long way to go. This is just the team competition.
Exactly. She's made a great contribution to the team effort. Her score is counted in many instances as the high score. Double back dismount, trouble on the landing. And of course, the major break in the middle of the routine.
And a look at Brandi Johnson, and it has not been the most pleasant of evenings for her, but she will have other moments, and Bart Connor has headed for the corner of this Hans Martin Schleyer Halle, and we will try to get a word with Brandi Johnson, if we can, when we come back right after this. Well, to the victors go the spoils, and down on the floor of the Hans Martin Schleyer Halle, Bart Connor with a couple of guests. Bart?
Thank you, Barry. I'm joined by Wendy Bruce and Sandy Woolsey, 2 girls in their first major international competition, and what a great event for both of you. First of all, your score is all between 9.7 and 9.8, and a big finish on the nerve-wracking balance beam, Wendy.
Yeah, I had a lot of wobbles on beam, but the score was still good, so I was pleased.
How did you deal with the pressure of your first major international event? You seemed pretty cool out there.
Yeah, surprisingly, I was really relaxed, and I just did my routines like I was in practice, so.
speaking of the relaxed atmosphere, all of your scores were between 9-8 and 9-9, and a lot of the teammates tell me that you're the one responsible for this sort of casual, relaxed atmosphere for the U.S. team. How do you keep it so loose?
Well, I just relax and try just do the best job I can and just think about it as workout and smile.
The coaches have talked about trying to keep the relaxed atmosphere in the training sessions. Everybody looked good, but it was tough on Brandi Johnson today.
Yeah, I think it was, and I really felt for it, but I had to keep going.
Well, we appreciate you all both holding up very well in your first major international event. Good luck in the all-around finals in the next round.
Thanks.
Congratulations, both of you.
What do you have? Give me 2 pizza puffs.
Well, we come to the end of a most exciting competition here in the World Championships in Stuttgart. And Kathy, I think 2 words maybe describe my feelings about tonight. Soviet Union. Boy, they were great.
The Soviets definitely continued their dominance here. In fact, 9.762 is the lowest score they counted in 2 days of competition. And the Romanians, even though they came on strong in the optionals, they couldn't close that gap with the Soviets. Although Daniela Silivas of Romania is leading the all-around. And the Chinese did a beautiful job, particularly on the balance beam, to come back from a 6th-place finish at Seoul in the Olympic Games to come in 3rd here. And the Americans, they were superb. This is the best I've seen them look all year long. Sandy Woolsey, Christi Henrich, they all just did great.
Yeah, Bart, what about the Americans? There will be a tomorrow.
Yes, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, no scores carry over from this round to the finals. Brandi Johnson will have her chance at a medal because she'll be in the vaulting finals. Christi Henrich and Sandy Woolsey will be in the uneven bar finals, and then Sandy, Wendy, and Brandi will all be in the all-around finals. So there's still a lot of hope for the Americans in terms of winning individual event medals as well.
Well, what we might have seen here tonight is an old story in a new form, and the emergence of a couple of teams who might be able to be a force, and one the world leaders could look back over their shoulders at in years to come. For Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor, I'm Barry Tompkins. Good night.
The 1989 World Gymnastics Championships have been brought to you by the #1 ski boot in the world, Nordica. Reach a new high. By the good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Daihatsu. Since 1907, the small car specialists from Japan.